Hi everyone. So the daily reading a little bit later in the day than normal. Gotta be like super honest. I am so discombobulated today. Like couldn't tell if I wanted to do a daily reading but I did the Gemini and Sagittarius reading, which really needed to get done. It's like, and then I was like, do I want to do a live? But then I tried to do a live and my internet's all messy. So I feel like Mercury retrograde is already affecting me. And usually with Mercury retrograde in Leo, because Mercury is in Leo, it's not that I have a difficult time. It was more difficult in Pisces season than it will be during Cancer season. I'm not really worried about Mercury retrograde this time around. My Mercury is in Leo. So I feel like what it's actually telling me is to not try and figure everything out all at once. Because I had so many things going on in my mind, like one thing after another but I could do this, but I could do that, but I could do this. And then I thought maybe I'll do an Instagram live, but then my phone wouldn't. It was just weird. Like every time I tried to do something, it would backfire on me. So I was like, all right, we're just going to go back to the drawing board, start from the beginning, do the daily reading like I normally do it, and not try to get all fancy about it. Mercury retrograde is not a time to get fancy about start like new things, okay? It's like, no. And it actually goes retrograde on the 7th, but as we're in the shadow period. And what Mercury retrograde actually means is that Mercury is closer to Earth. It does not mean that it's going backwards. It just means the energy of Mercury is stronger. Mercury is the planet that goes retrograde the most, goes retrograde at least 3 times a year. So it's not like, it doesn't have to be a negative thing. My intuition is actually much higher during Mercury retrograde because I'm ruled by Mercury. So personal readings are on point. But I know that there's going to be some confusion. I think the biggest lesson during this retrograde, especially since it's right in the middle of this portal during the eclipses, the solar eclipse that we had on the 2nd and the lunar eclipse that's happening on the 16th and or 17th, depending on where you are in the world. I feel like what this is asking us, this retrograde season is asking us, is to find our answers from within. I am doing personal readings right now, in between the traveling and the events and stuff like that. Speaking of, I will be in St. Louis next weekend. If you want to get a ticket for St. Louis, that information is on my website. I'm also going to be in Chicago August 3rd. Those tickets are available, and the LA tickets are available as well. San Francisco and Portland will be up as soon as possible. But anyways, back to the personal readings. I am doing personal readings at this time in the middle of all of the traveling. See how I'm just discombobulated. It's so weird. The personal readings are going to be available if you need a personal reading. I'm here to do one for you. I'm also doing the alignment sessions, and I'm also doing Reiki sessions still as well while I'm traveling. But I do want to say that I think that this time period is to help us learn how to go within and help us learn how to find the answers within ourselves without feeling like we have to count on an outside resource to give us those answers, you know? So we're going to look at the cards. I'm going to shuffle them. I'm using the Modern Spellcasters Tarot. It's my favorite deck. I do have a new deck, and I really want to do a live reading for the Mercury retrograde and the solar eclipse portal for each sign. But my live readings just, especially during Mercury retrograde, I'm not entirely sure that's a good idea. Maybe we should just say to hell with it and do it anyways, and whatever happens, happens. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out and see. All right, let's see what the message is. Yes, what the message is for today. Totally. Journey of self-discovery, right? 7 of Cups. I'm sorry. Maybe there's confusion within this journey, and that's why I said 7. We have the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups is the journey of self-discovery card for me. This is taking all of that emotional baggage that you've been holding on to and walking away from it, leaving it behind. You have to get honest with yourself and ask yourself, yeah, what is it that I truly want? And then we have the Hermit. The Hermit is also about being introspective. If you want to get the answers, and everybody asks me this, they're like, I don't know what my intuition is and what my ego is. Your intuition is leading you in a positive direction. May not be the easiest direction, but it's a positive direction. Your ego is telling you why you're not good enough to go in that direction. Or your ego is going to lead you in the direction that's really, really easy, and tell you this is all you can handle. You're going to take the easy route because it's what you can handle. If I were taking the easy route, I'd be working in telecom again, honestly. And that wasn't an easy job to have, but it was easier than this, I'll tell you that. Because at least I knew the outcome. Right? The thing is your soul purpose, you're not supposed to know the outcome. And if you have it in your head that your soul purpose is supposed to be your career, your purpose in this lifetime does not necessarily mean you're going to be paid for what your soul purpose is. Okay? It's so funny. A friend of mine and I were texting a second ago. It wasn't a second ago. It was right before I started this video. And we were talking about how trendy it is to be spiritual right now. I mean, sure, we can meditate on, meditate and go within and become enlightened and listen to the music and have all the crystals and align your chakras and go to yoga every day and do the breathing techniques and all of the things. But when it comes down to it, there is being spiritual and trendy spiritual and pretending that you're spiritual. And there's also knowing that your role in this lifetime is to do light work. And whether that means that it's going to be easy or it's going to be hard is not up to you. The true spiritual work that you should be doing is living your truth. And sometimes living your truth means giving up everything so that you can be filled back up with love and being grateful and joy. Sometimes you have to release all of it and start listening to yourself over everything else that tells you how to be spiritual, right? Sometimes you have to release all of it to gain the knowledge that you need to know. Being a light worker doesn't mean that you're better than anybody else. being enlightened or spiritual doesn't mean that you're better than anybody else. It's actually a really humbling experience. And sometimes it actually means not being the best, quote unquote, the best at whatever society deems is the best. Being a light worker does not mean that you have all the numbers or you have all the money or you have the following or the whatever, right? Being a light worker means that you humble yourself in the position of where you are, and you are a light to those who need the guidance to come back to their own truth. What is your own truth? It's different than everybody. It's different for everybody. My truth is going to be different than your truth. My journey is going to be different than your journey. Back to the cards. So then we have the Queen of Cups, who is also extremely intuitive. It is Cancer season. Let's see. Oof. Intuition all over the place. Like a card. There's not been a card that's come out that does not talk about intuition in some way, shape, or form. This journey that we're on right now, guys, is about acceptance and acknowledging who you are. It's very real, and at the same time, it's an illusion because you cannot get set on an idea of how things are going to go. I explained it the other day by saying my life is in constant motion. It is always changing. If I try and accept that I'm going to be in one position or one spot in my life, whether that means the way that I'm teaching, whether that means the way, like where I'm living, who my friends are, like all of that. If I get into a notion of, okay, this is the way my life is going to be from here on out, I would be sadly disappointed every single time my life changed. Because I've had people come in and out of my life because I'm supposed to teach them a lesson, they're supposed to teach me a lesson, and then we move on, right? It's the environment changes constantly, all the time. There is a depth to knowing that your life is in constant motion, and the only way that you can get the answers of what's going to happen next or what you do next is going internally. It's like a game changer time. It's really time to change the way you process things, the way you think about things, the way you allow things to affect you. I think this is the last card I'm going to... Yes. Game changer time. This is a huge game changer with the Wheel of Fortune. Because only you're the one that's in charge of shifting the energy. Now, that doesn't mean that you're in charge of how fast it's going to go, because you can shift the energy at any time with this Wheel of Fortune, but the universe, there's still divine timing, right? So you can shift the energy, you can plant the seeds, you can start going in a different direction, you can start listening to yourself, you can get very, very intimate with your own thought processes and your own healing methods and all of that, and shift the energy. But the universe is the one that's going to say, when you're ready to have a certain thing come into your life, or when you're ready to move on to the next level, to level up, to consciously level up. That's what the universe, because here's the thing, is again, you can get all the stuff, right? You can get all the material things, you can get all the people, you can get the numbers and all the effects and the things that make you look really, really good from the outside. But if you're miserable on the inside, all of the stuff doesn't really matter. All of the things don't matter. All of the recognition doesn't matter. all of the numbers don't matter. So the only real way to pull yourself out of the muck, right? Because I know a lot of us have been doing shadow work and pulling ourselves out of the muck, if you will. The only way to do that is to get right with how you feel about who you are. And if you don't feel good about who you are or your existence, not because of the outside things, if you don't feel right about your existence because of who you are as a person, as a soul, nothing else matters. The reason why you cannot get happy is because you don't even know who you are on the inside, right? And it doesn't happen overnight. It took me a very long time to realize the person that I am, who I am. And it's amazing when there is like an outside influence that makes me question everything, right? It makes me question everything that I'm supposed to be doing, or it makes me question every facet of who I am. I've actually had somebody tell me that I wasn't a real light worker. Somebody who doesn't know, they just think they know me because they watched me on YouTube. And I was just like, when you are questioning something because of what somebody else says, that means that you have work to do. You have shadow work to do. And I will 100% admit that in the last several weeks leading up to this coming up time in this portal of the solar eclipse, knowing that I have so many big things that I'm supposed to be doing, I got caught up in the numbers. I got caught up in the things that other people would say. I got caught up in all the stuff. And then I had to stop myself and I had to say, but what's real? And what's an illusion? If YouTube was gone tomorrow, would I still have a voice? Would I still be speaking my truth? Right? So you have to get down to the very nitty gritty. You have to take all the numbers away. You have to take all the Instagram quotes away. You have to, or the memes and the filters, right? You got to strip yourself bare, and you got to get down and you have to ask yourself, what's my game changer? And believe me, when I do these readings, it's not just for you. I'm taking the message too. Okay? So this is all about your inner guide. Let's see what this Eight of Cups is. Yes. And you have to walk away from the thought that you're always going to be balanced. And if you're not balanced, that you're not okay, right? And we really like to label ourselves. In this day and age, we really like to place labels on ourselves. And I know that labels for a lot of people, it's easier to exist when the labels the labels are there and make sense. But this Justice card on the Eight of Cups, in order for you to feel like you're gaining momentum in your life, you have to release the expectations. You have to release the emotional baggage that you've been holding on to for a really long time. And during this eclipse portal and the partial lunar eclipse that we're going to have in Capricorn on the 16th of July, I want you to ask yourself, get quiet and really find out who you are. Ask yourself what it is that makes you truly, truly happy in life. What it is that you like about yourself. What it is that source energy wants for you. And then I want you to capitalize on that. Okay? Let's see what the Queen of Cups is. The Queen of Cups for me is very intuitive. She's very loving. She's very open. She's emotional. She can be intensely emotional sometimes. She, definitely, whoa. Ooh, ooh, all right. Definitely somebody. Okay, so this Queen of Cups here, and we're just going to represent this as the divine feminine energy. For the divine feminine energy, there is this it's like this new divine feminine energy is rising up. So we have, to clarify the Queen of Cups, we have the Knight of Cups, the Three of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. With the rise of the new divine feminine energy, there's a knowing. And it's so funny because I feel like she's planting these seeds of union, not just with the divine masculine, but the union of all people. And she's doing it in a very loving, unconditionally loving way. And speaking her truth is huge right now. It's huge. So I want you to pay attention to your own divine feminine energy. And even with men that are watching this, you have divine feminine energy within you as well. You may resonate a little bit more with the masculine, but that divine feminine energy, if you were to allow yourself to to become a little bit more intuitive, to become a little bit more emotional, to stop numbing your emotions because you don't want to feel them, because you don't like the regret, you don't like the sadness, you don't like the not knowing where you're headed. When you numb your emotions and you shut them off because you don't want to feel it, it's easier. It's easier to not feel. When you do that, you're closing off your intuition and you can't give yourself answers anyways when you do that. So women, females who are more in their divine masculine energy than you are their divine feminine energy, I don't want you to numb your emotions either. Showing your emotions, having your emotions, speaking your emotions is much stronger than shutting yourself off. When you shut yourself off, you are showing your weakness right there. When you are numb and you shut yourself down, you are showing your weakness. Now, here's the thing. There are days where I'm very open and very intuitive, and I am out of extremely high vibration when I'm doing my readings all day long. And then there are days where I just shut myself down and I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to get into that high vibration today. I need a break. I need to exist, and that's it. Just simply exist. Yesterday, for example, was a day where I just simply existed. Like, I did not want to tap into any realm, whether it was the 3D world or the 5D world. I just wanted to exist. Okay? There's a difference between shutting off your emotions and just existing. Especially if you allow yourself to just exist one day and then open yourself back up to that intuitive process, to the emotions, to allowing yourself to speak your truth. There's a difference, okay? Getting quiet and just existing is one thing. But so this divine feminine energy is on the rise, and she wants union, and she wants to speak her truth. And when I say union, she wants union within herself, and she wants union with other people, not necessarily just the divine masculine, but with everybody, okay? And on the High Priestess, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Listen to your intuition. Listen to the steps that your intuition is asking you to take. Because the Eight of Pentacles is about not skipping the steps. The Eight of Pentacles is about doing things by the book. Very Saturnian energy, except for it's the sun in Virgo, so it's also mercurial, right? So you have to remember that your intuition is going to guide you on your next step to building your foundation. The Eight of Pentacles is about building up from the ground up, right? It's about building a new foundation. And the Wheel of Fortune is telling you that this is a game changer. Things are not going to be the same as they were before. Yeah. And the way to shift this energy with the game changer, Eight of Wands, is at the bottom of the deck. I gotta look, hold on. Yeah, and the Four of Swords. The way to shift this energy is to fill up your own cup. And we've talked about this before. Allowing yourself to go internally and really love yourself. Like, not just saying, oh no, I love myself. Actually really loving yourself. Being kind to yourself. That Ace of Cups is a gift from the universe. And the universe is saying the game changer here is all about you. You can shift the energy at any moment in time in your life. You can make things happen. You can start making things happen at any moment. Now, granted, again, divine timing is at play, but you can get it started. And the way that you stop yourself from shifting the energy is doubt and fear and loathing and telling yourself that you're not good enough and telling yourself that, you know, you have all of these things that you're not able to accomplish in your life, blah, 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 for this and this and this and this and this. The numbers don't lie. The numbers do lie. Because a lot of times those numbers are such an illusion. Everything's happening really, really fast right now. Everything is shifting really, really fast. There is not one day that's going to be the same as another day, which is really funny because I used to live my life by needing to have a set schedule like every single day. It had to be the exact same schedule every single day. That's how grounded of a person that I was before. And then when I went through my spiritual awakening, I realized that I am energy in motion. I am constant motion all the time. And I had to adjust myself to that knowledge that everything is constantly changing. And if I get comfortable in one area of my life and it switches up, the reason why I have to adjust and know that everything is in constant motion is because if I get into like a certain area of my life and I get really, really comfortable and it changes, I would get disappointed and I'd be like, oh, not again, right? Sometimes it gets exhausting, but I'm ready for it. I'm always ready for that change. So I want you guys to know that having that constant motion, having that change in your life is not necessarily a bad thing. We will get settled in to a new normal, but right now you're in a growth period. You're in a very big portal of growth. And so the sooner you accept that, the easier this is going to be, the easier this journey is going to be. I love you guys. Come hang out with me in St. Louis on the 13th, in Chicago on the 3rd, LA and San Francisco the weekend of the 23rd and 24th, and Portland, Oregon in the 30th. All of that information is in the description box below. Thank you for all of your support on this ride, and I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to get a reading with me, those are also available. Have an awesome day, and I'm hoping to do a live sometime this weekend, but I'm not going to push it, so we'll see how it goes. I love you all. Bye.